Hi, welcome to the Life at FM Roundtable session. I'm joined by some students here from FM, and I'd like to ask each of them to introduce themselves and tell us when they graduated, if you don't mind. And we'll start with that. So,
All right.
Maddie?
I'm Maddie Jones. I started college here in 2019, and I just graduated this past spring. And I chose FM because it was a head start on my four-year degree, and I got to save money at the same time.
My name's Emily Town. I started here in 2015 and I graduated in 2017. I chose FM because I looked at a lot of big colleges and universities, but I was really unsure of what I wanted to do. So I figured FM was the best choice for a lot less money.
Well, my name's Noah Clark. I graduated in 2016, so I was here from 2014 to 16. I went to FM because, like Emily, I also didn't really know what I wanted to do yet, and this was a great way to explore my options before I transferred to a four-year.
Great. Thank you. So let's start off with something maybe a little bit easier and just kind of kick it off by asking you, what was one thing that worried you the most about going to college? When you were thinking about starting college, what was one of the things that really you felt a little nervous about? No, let's start with you, Noah, this time.
So I remember driving to college, and I actually was like wondering how hard it would be to make friends there. Just because like high school is a totally different atmosphere than college, and but when you actually get here, it's like easier than ever. But I do remember just being so scared, like, oh, what if nobody likes me? You know?
Right.
Yeah, I was in the same boat because I actually came here as an early admit student. So I was here in high school, my senior year of high school. So all of my friends were still, at my home high school. So I was really worried about how am I going to make friends, like who am I going to talk to. But I ended up joining a few things and making some friends.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely just starting that new chapter and meeting new people because I've always been more on the shy side, but it was really easy once I got here.
Kind of along those same lines, what did you guys do to make friends? What do you think was the way in which any of you would like to respond to that would be helpful?
Well, so I stayed on campus here, so I had like my roommates and stuff like that. But then I remember like going to just like a first event, like a bingo night or something like that, and it's just you'd have to be around people, and you'd meet the people that are probably going to be in your classes or you're going to see every day, and just getting involved and going to a simple event, I made more friends.
Nice.
Yeah. I joined the softball team, so that really helped. I ended up being really close friends with all my teammates. I was a student tutor, so I met a lot of people in the writing center from tutoring. I met Noah.
Yep.
Just, branching out and doing different things, you definitely meet a lot more people.
Did you feel prepared for college, to attend college when you got here? Did you feel like you were ready?
Yeah, I felt somewhat prepared, but and I was nervous too, but there were so many people at the college willing to help me, so it made my experience a lot easier.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't feel as prepared just because I was coming out of high school, coming into here as a senior, so it was definitely a big shock as to what college was, but once you go the first couple of weeks, you definitely start to get a handle on it and understand what the difference really is.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Emily there. Like after I was just in the setting, it was very seamless, and I felt like I wasn't educationally prepared, but they don't drop you into the 400 level class off the rip. So it's really great to just kind of ease my way into it.
College is a lot more independent. You don't have teachers. Like in high school, you have your teachers saying you missed an assignment or you weren't in class or, you're falling a little bit behind, and they're always there to kind of guide you along a little bit more. But college is definitely, it's all you and it's all your work. So it's all based on your decisions. It definitely took me a couple weeks when I first started to kind of understand I need to get on a schedule. I need to start checking my syllabus. I need to, really kind of start to be a lot more prepared.
Yeah, I'd say like once you're there about a month, then you kind of have your act together.
Yeah.
At first you're kind of like scrambling between, like what's on your syllabus and like what schedule you have for the week. And, once you're there, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Was taking college classes intimidating at FM at first? And if so, how did you adjust to the class pace and the expectations, your professor's expectations?
I mean, at first it's a little intimidating. Like I said before, I mean, they don't like throw you into like the really higher level classes at first. The professors I remember here were pretty good about kind of easing your way into the experience. They didn't give you the 10-page paper week one. They kind of give you the tools to then build on that. So I guess intimidating at first, but you adjust, you adapt, overcome.
That first test that you have to study for,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that first experience, can you think back to kind of how that felt and what your reaction was once you got past
Yeah.
that first hurdle?
For me, I was definitely always intimidated by my math and science classes just because that is not at all part of my skill set. So I took I think a chemistry class, and I was really struggling the first few weeks, and then I started going to tutoring and taking advantage of my professor's office hours, which really, really got me through the semester.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did any of you change your major over the course of your time here at FM?
I did not, no.
I definitely did, and I know Emily did quite a bit.
It's actually funny. So at FM, I always stayed general studies, but I kept being like, oh, I can see myself doing this, or I can see myself doing this, just because as a general studies major, I got to pick my own electives. So I really explored a lot more areas, and that kind of gave me a lot of ideas as to what I could do. So I did end up switching a lot more once I graduated from FM. But yeah, just because I got so much experience from the different classes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like in a opposite boat. So I went into college thinking I was going to be a graphic designer. And then as I kind of went through the program, I was kind of having my doubts, and I wanted to explore other things. So I switched to general studies. And after I kind of explored the rest of my options, I ended up going back for graphic design when I transferred. So it was kind of cool. I got kind of just like a breadth of different things there.
Yeah, it could be hard to pick at first, so
Yeah.
you want to see all your options for sure.
How about you, Maddie? Did you change, or did you
I
just
didn't.
you stayed steady?
Yeah, I stayed steady.
Yeah. So was your general studies your major, or did you?
I was business.
Your business.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good.
Business major.
Nice. So did any of you work and attend college at the same time? And if you did, how did you manage both priorities?
Yeah. So I worked during school. I would work less days than I had to. So I had like 4 days to study and relax and 3 days to work,
Right.
You got to find the balance.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I was the same. I worked part-time while I came here, and it's all about just making a set schedule for me. Like, I would go to work like 2 or 3 days a week, and then I know like these are the days I have classes, so I just had to make sure I'd give myself enough time to study, go to work, take care of myself too.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I did work study while I was here, so I actually got to work a little bit on campus, which was kind of convenient, but you kind of balance that around your class schedule as well. But, one thing I definitely learned, which you can probably say, is you got to say no to your bosses sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if you're part-time.
Yes.
Because it's easy to fall into that, like, yes, I can do it because I have this day off, but you realize you have other obligations you got to get to.
Right.
Did any of you become involved in, I know you mentioned sports, any other activities, athletics?
So, like, my experience was different because I was an early admit student, so I still had my high school activities going on. And then COVID hit, so there was no chance for the activities.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. I know you were very active, Noah. You wanna talk a
Yeah,
little about
I
that?
I did probably too much while I was here. I started off as an RA, which was pretty awesome. I got to meet a lot of great people that I lived around, people from all over the state. Then somehow I got roped into the board of trustees. So I was kind of seeing the student senate side as well as the college leadership's team side of the college, and kind of being a liaison between the two was an awesome experience. And then I did, my work study jobs and things like that. But I especially loved being on the student senate. That was just awesome because it was like different clubs
Yeah.
all meshing together. I mean, and it's a community college, so there's so many different like age groups, international students, and that was the one thing I really took away from activities here was just being amongst all the different people.
Awesome. Good. Looking back at your years at FM, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I think for me, I was a commuting student, so definitely like taking advantage of all the places to kind of hang out on campus. Because when I came here, Raiders Cove had just finished being built. It was like brand new, so that was somewhere that we could all hang out after softball practice and stuff. But just being able to hang out on campus more, definitely taking advantage of all the nice places that we have.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to narrow down. I'd say maybe try out like some different clubs. There's a lot of different clubs here that I wish I could have been a part of. So yeah, I wish I got that experience a little bit.
Good. Coming up on my last question, but before I get to that one, I was just going to ask you each if you wouldn't mind telling us when you graduated from FM, where you transferred to or where you went to work, or how did you end the story, so to speak? Because I'm sure people are interested in knowing you graduated from FM and then what did you do? So, Maddie, you want to?
So I just graduated and I actually got a job here working in admissions, and now I'm transferring to Siena.
And you're
college,
going to be majoring in business?
business there, too.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
It's awesome.
When I came to FM at first, I, was struggling. I was not the greatest student, but I really pulled it together towards my last year here. I transferred to SUNY Plattsburgh. I ended up in the HDFR major, Human Development, Family Relations. I absolutely loved it, which I think made a huge difference because I found what I was really passionate about. I ended up graduating there, magna cum laude. Then I went to Albany. I chose a major just because I really want to be a leader of somewhere, make changes from rules and policy and stuff like that. So that's how I got there. I'm currently about to start my second year there, and I've been on the dean's list both semesters. So.
Excuse me. Nice.
So I graduated from FM in 2016, and like Emily, we both went to Plattsburgh, hung out a little bit. And so, like I said, I went from general studies back into graphic design. So I ended up going there and applying for their BFA program, Bachelor of Fine Arts. Ended up getting through that, did the BFA show. I ended up getting to do the branding for the whole BFA show, actually. It was my peers picked my work for it, which was an awesome thing. And afterwards, I did some work actually at the hotel I worked at. So I did a little bit of their branding and postcards there. It's a nice hotel up in Saratoga, which was awesome. They actually used some of my illustrations in it. Then I worked for a yarn company, and I was doing some social media and package design there. And then I was working freelance for a CBD oil company, so I was doing labels, sending them there for them to print and put on tincture bottles. I went back to the hotel that I was doing just some odd jobs for, and he was like, "So, you're into hospitality?" And I'm like, not really. I'm a graphic designer. I kind of laughed at him, and he's like, "Well, you know what I do? I'm the editor-in-chief for Saratoga Living magazine." He's like, "Show me your work." they ended up loving my illustrations, and I actually got my work featured in the Mary Lou Whitney issue of Saratoga Living magazine.
Nice. What is one piece of advice you would give to a new FM student, or really any student thinking about going to college in general?
Definitely, if you can, try to make school your first priority. Like, if you consistently study and hand in your work, you're going to be successful. So, try and make that balance with your work life or whatever you have outside of school.
Nice.
I would say definitely check your syllabus. That was like the biggest eye opener for me at college. Was that is basically like a tell-all to your professor, like how they grade, how much things are worth, when your assignments are due. It just helps you get a lot more organized and ahead.
Good.
I would say just make sure you get involved. I mean, college is really what you make of it. So just really put your best foot forward, whether it's your social life and your academic life, just get involved.
And I guess I have one more question, and that is, recently people have been kind of on the fence about maybe whether going to college is the right choice for them. There's many opportunities going right into a career, maybe higher wages, sign-on bonuses, and so forth, and maybe the thought of going to college, and college is work, right? And putting that work in, thinking that maybe I can just get a job and do fine without college. Thinking about that, and being that you've been in college, what would be your advice to someone who is maybe on the fence about whether or not they should go to college?
I would say really try to go to college because there's so many people there who can give you advice for the working world instead of just jumping into it by yourself.
I think in like the grand scheme of it, it's such a short amount of time for something that you can use forever. So it's really, it's a good backup plan, and it's something that you can really utilize for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you work and attend part-time, you're pretty much building your resume with both hands at that point.
Nice. Thank you.